You don't have a money
Millionaire
problem.
library.
You have a relationship problem. And until you admit that, you will keep repeating the same cycle with different numbers. You will earn more, then leak more. You will chase bigger goals, then sabotage them with the same old fears. Because when you're at war with money, every dollar you touch becomes emotional. It becomes proof. It becomes stress. It becomes identity. And that is how a simple tool turns into a silent master. Right now, money is not just in your bank account. It's in your head. It's the tightness in your chest when you open an invoice. It's the guilt after you buy something you deserved. It's the shame when you can't keep up. It's the anger when someone else has more. It's the fantasy that one big breakthrough will finally make you feel safe. Be honest with yourself. When you imagine being rich, what are you really chasing? Freedom? Respect? Revenge? Relief? Love? In the next 9 chapters, we're going to do something most people never do. We're going to remove the drama from money. Not the ambition, not the desire to win, the drama. Because drama is expensive. Drama makes you impulsive. Drama makes you hide. Drama makes you play small in public and act reckless in private. Unshakable people don't become unshakable by hustling harder. They become unshakable by becoming clean inside. The first step is peace. Not the soft kind, the powerful kind. Let's start with a simple idea that will offend weak thinking and free strong thinking. Money is neutral. It's not holy, it's not dirty, it's not a villain, it's not a savior. It's a tool that records value and moves energy between humans. The pain doesn't come from the tool, it comes from what we project onto it. You've seen it in real life. 2 people earn the same salary. One feels calm, one feels trapped. Same money, different mind. 2 entrepreneurs sell the same service. One feels proud, one feels like a fraud. Same transaction, different story. This is why your mindset is not a cute concept, it's your operating system. If your operating system treats money like a dangerous animal, you will either avoid it or try to control it with panic, and panic is never a smart investor. Here's the hidden war most people live in. They say money doesn't matter, but they think about it every day. They criticize rich people, but they want the lifestyle. They call spending self-care, then feel empty afterward. They talk about manifesting, then refuse to learn basic skills like pricing, negotiation, budgeting, and patient investing. They want wealth, but they don't want the responsibilities that come with it. That contradiction creates stress, and stress creates bad decisions. Let me give you a micro story you'll recognize. A young man gets his first real raise. For a week, he feels powerful. He upgrades everything. New phone, better clothes, more restaurants. He tells himself it's motivation. 2 months later, the excitement dies, the payments stay, and the fear returns. Now he's working harder than before, but he's not moving forward. He's maintaining an image. That's not wealth. That's a costume with a monthly subscription. Another story. A young woman starts a side business. She's talented. People like her work. But when it's time to charge properly, she freezes. Her voice changes. She reduces the price before anyone asks. She over-delivers to prove she's worth it. She burns out. She concludes that business is exhausting, that money corrupts, that selling is ugly. No, the real issue is that she tied her self-worth to the price tag. She didn't sell a service, she offered herself for evaluation. That's why it hurt. Notice what's happening. In both cases, money is not the problem, the meaning is the problem. When money becomes a judge, you live in tension. When money becomes a tool, you live in strategy. So we're going to rewrite the meaning, not with affirmations, with a new lens. Here it is. Money amplifies what you already are. If you are generous, money can scale your generosity. If you are disciplined, money can scale your options. If you are insecure, money can scale your insecurity. It can buy louder distractions. It can buy more approval seeking. It can buy faster self-destruction. That's why you've seen people make it and still look miserable. They didn't become free. They became amplified. Now I'm going to ask you a question that will tell me exactly where you are. Do you want money Or do you want what you believe money will finally allow you to feel? Because those are two different targets. If you chase money as a feeling, you will never arrive. Feelings move. They always do. But if you use money to support a mission, a craft, a clear life plan, you will feel grounded even before you're rich. That's real stability. This is the pivot. Stop loving money. Stop hating money. Stop negotiating with money like it's your lover. It's not your enemy. It's paper, numbers, systems, agreements, and choices. The obsession is what poisons you. The tool doesn't. Here's how you start building peace today without pretending. First, you identify the sentences running in your background, the ones you never chose consciously. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. I'm not good with numbers. If I get rich, I'll change. If I charge more, they'll hate me. If I save, I'm missing out. If I invest, I'll lose everything. Read those again slowly. Which ones feel familiar? These sentences are not truth. They are inherited scripts, and scripts create outcomes. Second, you separate money facts from money emotions. A fact is I spent $120 this week on food. An emotion is I'm bad with money. A fact is I have $900 in savings. An emotion is that's pathetic. Facts are useful. Emotions are signals. But when you confuse them, you sabotage yourself. Third, you set one calm rule that changes everything. No money decisions when you're in a spike. Not when you're anxious, not when you're high on excitement, not when you're trying to impress someone, not when you feel rejected. Emotional spending is a drug. Emotional investing is gambling. Emotional pricing is self-harm in a suit. If you want to become unshakable, you become slower with money. Slower, not weaker. Slower means cleaner. Cleaner means smarter. Now let me bring this into your ambitious life, the one you want. Money peace does not mean you stop wanting more. It means your ambition becomes aligned. You earn with pride, you spend with intention, you give with joy, you save with patience, you invest with clarity. You sell without shame because you understand a simple truth. Ethical value exchanged is not greed, it's cooperation. You are not taking, you are trading, you are building, you are giving someone a result they want and receiving fuel to scale your impact. That's not dirty, that's mature. If you've ever felt guilty for wanting wealth, listen carefully. Wanting resources is not a moral failure. Wanting resources without character is the danger. So build character, build standards, build inner calm. Then money becomes safe in your hands. Now I want to end this chapter with a moment that should feel like waking up. Imagine two futures. In the first, you keep fighting money. You keep judging it, chasing it, fearing it, proving yourself through it. You will stay tense even if you earn more. In the second, you make peace. You stop turning numbers into self-worth. You treat money like a tool in the hands of a calm builder. In that future, your nervous system changes, your decisions improve, your confidence becomes quiet, and wealth becomes a side effect of alignment, not a desperate hunt. Which future are you choosing? In the next chapter, we'll go deeper. We'll talk about the real difference between wanting money and wanting meaning, and how unshakable people build both at the same time without becoming hypocrites. Chapter 2. Your mission is the magnet. Money is the response. If money is your mission, you will never feel full, even when you win, because you will keep needing a bigger number to silence the same insecurity. That is the trap. And it's why so many people look successful and still feel empty. The awakened path is different. You don't chase money to feel alive. You build a life that is alive, and money becomes one of the natural results. Let's make this simple. In the awakened model, money is not a god, not a demon, not a measure of your worth. It's a mirror. It reflects what you believe and how you live. Change the beliefs and the reflection changes. Keep the same inner scripts and money will keep exposing them. Now here's the key distinction that upgrades everything. There are people who wake up asking, how do I make more money today? And there are people who wake up asking, how do I create more impact today? The second group tends to make more money over time, but they don't start there. They start with purpose. They start with contribution. They start with clarity. This is not moral superiority, it's strategy. When you lead with mission, you stop begging the world to validate you. You stop pricing yourself like you're ashamed. You stop hiding your ambition behind excuses. You become coherent, and coherence attracts. Let me give you a picture. Imagine two entrepreneurs. Same market, same skills, same work ethic. The first one is obsessed with income. He tweaks offers daily. He copies trends. He panics when sales drop. He becomes reactive. Customers feel it. They don't trust it. The second is obsessed with results for people. He improves the offer quietly. He studies his customers like a craftsman. He evolves his promise slowly and delivers cleanly. Customers trust him. Referrals grow. His income becomes steadier. Not because he is nicer, because he is anchored. So, what is mission really? It's not a dramatic sentence you write once. It's the reason you can keep going when motivation dies. It's the reason you can say no to distractions. It's the reason you can endure the boring parts of building. Mission is what gives your discipline a spine. The awakened model is built on a simple chain. Passion becomes direction. Direction becomes mission. Mission gives money a job. And when money has a job, it stops acting like a master. Pause and answer this honestly. If you had enough money for the rest of your life, what would you still do? What would you still build? Who would you still serve? If the answer is nothing, that's not freedom, that's exhaustion. If the answer is something clear, you just touched your mission. Now here's a hard truth. Many people don't fear failure, they fear the responsibility of success. Because success forces you to be seen. It forces you to deliver. It forces you to lead. So they keep their mission vague. Vague mission means vague action. Vague action means safe mediocrity. And safe mediocrity feels like slow death. The awakened millionaire does not hide behind vagueness. He chooses a direction and accepts the weight that comes with it. There is a famous example in the material that makes this obvious. A creator who loved making films wanted money for one reason: to keep creating. That purity is rare. Money wasn't identity, it was fuel. And because it was fuel, it didn't poison the mission, it strengthened it. That is the mindset shift. Money is not the destination, money is the delivery system. Now let's go deeper. The awakened view treats money as a form of recognition, a signal that value was exchanged. When you receive money, you're not being loved, you're being acknowledged for solving a problem, reducing pain, creating pleasure, saving time, increasing status, or expanding possibility. That's it. Clean and practical. This helps ambitious people stop doing one dangerous thing: confusing money with emotional approval. Here's what emotional approval money looks like. You undercharge because you want to be liked. You over-deliver because you want to be safe. You avoid selling because you don't want to be judged. You spend because you want to feel powerful. You invest recklessly because you want to feel smart. You're not dealing with money. You're dealing with old wounds using money as the language. Awakened wealth is emotional adulthood. You learn to separate love from revenue. You learn to separate identity from outcomes. You learn to separate mission from mood. Now I want to give you a practical tool you can use today. Write your big idea in one sentence, not your product, not your niche, your big idea. The reason your work matters, the internal reason. Then write your big promise in one sentence. That is what the world receives from you when you do your work well. Big idea is inside, big promise is outside. When those two align, people feel integrity, and integrity sells without pressure. Let's make it concrete. If your big idea is help ambitious people become disciplined, your big promise could be a daily system that makes progress automatic. If your big idea is bring calm to chaotic minds, your big promise could be simple tools to control anxiety and execute under pressure. The words don't need to be perfect, they need to be true. Now ask yourself a sharper question. Is my current work consistent with my big idea, or am I doing what pays now but damages me later? This is where many people betray themselves. They build a business that makes money but slowly kills their respect for their own life. You are not here to become rich and miserable. You are here to become rich and free. Free inside, not just free on paper. This is also where intuition matters, not mystical intuition, practical intuition. That subtle internal yes or no that appears when you're quiet enough to hear it. The awakened approach respects that signal alongside logic because it often sees danger before your ego does. Try this. Before a money decision this week, pause for 10 seconds. Ask, does this serve my mission or my ego? And then listen. If your body tightens, be careful. If your body relaxes, proceed. It's not magic, it's pattern recognition. Now I want to end this chapter with the cleanest perspective you can carry. You can enjoy luxury. You can want more. You can build an empire. The awakened path is not poverty worship. The difference is you never forget the ultimate function of wealth, to translate your mission into impact that outlives your mood. So here's your closing challenge. Choose one mission-aligned action you will take in the next 24 hours. Not a plan, an action, a message, a pitch, a draft, a practice session, a disciplined hour. Something real. Because missions don't grow in the mind, they grow in motion. If you do this consistently, something powerful happens. Money stops feeling like a judge. It becomes a witness. It records your growth. It follows your value. It responds to your courage. And one day, you'll realize you didn't attract wealth by hoping. You built it by becoming the kind of person whose mission makes money behave. Chapter 3. Clean the inner leaks that keep you broke. You can earn more and still feel poor, not because the world is unfair, because something inside you leaks, quietly, constantly. And it leaks in 3 places: what you believe you deserve, what you allow yourself to receive, and what you do when you feel unsafe. Most people try to fix money with math, budgets, apps, hustle. That helps, but it doesn't touch the deeper problem, the hidden rules you live by, the rules you never wrote but you obey. Let me ask you a clean question. What do you secretly believe about people who have real money? Not what you say out loud, what you feel. If you see wealth as greedy, you will sabotage it. If you see wealth as dangerous, you will avoid it. If you see wealth as not for people like me, you will unconsciously prove yourself right. Your bank account follows your identity. That's why some people win, then immediately create chaos, overspend, pick fights, make stupid investments, lose focus, burn bridges. They don't feel safe holding more, so they return to what feels familiar, even if familiar is stressful. Your nervous system has a comfort zone. It doesn't care if it's healthy, it cares if it's known. Unshakable people expand that comfort zone deliberately. They don't just learn money, they learn themselves. Here is the first leak: deserving. Many ambitious people carry a silent guilt. They work hard, but deep down they feel they must suffer to be worthy. So when money comes easily, it feels suspicious. They reject it, they complicate it, they create pain to feel balanced. This is not morality, it's programming. If you believe you must suffer to earn, you will always choose harder paths, even when smarter paths exist. So the upgrade is simple. Replace suffering with standards. Standards say, I earn through value, consistency, and integrity, not through self-punishment. Let me give you a micro story. A freelancer doubled his income in 6 months. Immediately, his health declined. Sleep got worse. He started taking every client. He stopped training. He became reactive. His business was growing, but his life was shrinking. Why? Because part of him believed he didn't deserve ease, so he destroyed ease the moment it arrived. When he changed one belief, everything stabilized. He adopted a rule: more money must buy more calm, not more chaos. He raised prices, reduced workload, improved delivery, kept his body strong. That's awakened wealth, money that upgrades life. Second leak: receiving. Some people can give, they can work, they can help, but they cannot receive without discomfort. They deflect compliments, they undercharge, they refuse support. They act independent, but it's fear in a suit. Receiving is not weakness, receiving is maturity. If you cannot receive, your income will hit a ceiling, because income is receiving at scale. So here is a practice. The next time someone offers help, don't reject it instantly. Pause, say thank you, then decide calmly. You are training your system to accept good things without panic. This also applies to money. When you get paid, don't instantly spend or instantly stress. Take 10 seconds. Breathe. Let your body register. I can hold this. That is not spiritual fluff. It's nervous system training. Third leak: safety reactions. When people feel unsafe, they do predictable things. They control, they numb, they avoid, they prove, they chase. Money triggers all of that. So if you want to become stable with money, you must see your patterns under stress. So ask yourself, when you feel financial pressure, what is your default move? Do you freeze and neglect everything else? Do you overwork and abandon everything else? Do you spend impulsively to feel relief? Do you chase risky plays to fix it fast? Do you become controlling and tense with people you love? None of these are character flaws. They are coping strategies. They were designed to protect you, but now they cost you. Awakened wealth is replacing protection with process. Process means you decide what you do when pressure hits before pressure hits. Here is a simple protocol you can use. 3 steps. Step 1. Name the state. I'm in fear, or I'm in urgency. Naming reduces its power. Step 2. Reduce the spike. Drink water. Walk 10 minutes. Breathe slower. No big decisions while activated. Step 3. Do one clean action. 1 invoice, 1 budget check, 1 conversation, 1 application, 1 hour of focused work. Not 10 actions, 1. This rebuilds trust. Trust is the real currency. When you trust yourself, you stop panicking. When you stop panicking, you stop making expensive mistakes. Now let's go deeper. Most people don't actually want money. They want safety. And they try to buy safety with money. That never works fully, because safety is partly internal. You can have a high income and still feel threatened, because your identity is unstable. The awakened approach is building safety inside first, then using money to reinforce it. What does internal safety look like? It looks like knowing you can adapt. It looks like skills you can sell. It looks like discipline you can rely on. It looks like a lifestyle you can sustain. It looks like a circle that respects your direction. It looks like emotional control when numbers move. That kind of safety cannot be stolen by a bad month. So here is the key concept of this chapter. Money responds to inner order. When your inner world is chaotic, money becomes chaotic. When your inner world becomes structured, money becomes structured. Not instantly, but inevitably. This is why some people seem lucky. They are not. They are coherent. They think clearly. They act consistently. They don't self-betray. They don't self-sabotage. They don't chase approval with spending. They don't chase identity with luxury. They don't chase relief with shortcuts. they build. Now, a direct question for you. If your financial life had to become calm in the next 30 days, what would you stop doing first? Would you stop buying to impress? Would you stop avoiding your numbers? Would you stop saying yes to low-value work? Would you stop trying to fix everything fast? Would you use stress as motivation? Pick one change, because one leak closed is more powerful than 10 goals. Let me give you a practical tool to close leaks quickly, the Money Mirror Journal. Once a day, write 3 lines. What happened with money today? What did I feel? And what did I do because of that feeling? That's it. After 7 days, patterns appear, and once patterns are visible, they become optional. Most people live on autopilot. You're here to live on purpose. Now let's address the thing ambitious people hate hearing: slowness. Awakened wealth often looks slower at the beginning because you're cleaning foundations. You're removing inner contradictions. You're building a nervous system that can hold more without breaking. This slow phase is what prevents collapse later. The goal is not fast money. The goal is money that stays. Money that stays requires a self that stays. So here is your challenge for this chapter. Choose one inner leak and close it this week. If it's deserving, practice ease without guilt. Do one thing efficiently and refuse to add suffering for no reason. If it's receiving, accept one compliment, one help, one payment, one opportunity without deflecting. If it's safety reactions, delay one impulsive decision and replace it with one clean action. Do it once, then do it again. This is how you rewire. And here's the wow truth I want you to carry into the next chapter. The richest version of you is not the one who earns the most. It's the one who stays calm while earning. The one who can hold more without turning into someone you don't respect. In the next chapter, we'll talk about aligned action, how to use intention, discipline, and clear commitments to build wealth without selling your soul or losing your peace. Chapter 4. Aligned action beats motivation every time. Here's the truth that separates people who talk about wealth from people who live it. Motivation is unreliable. Alignment is stable. If your success depends on feeling inspired, you will lose to the calendar. You will lose to stress. You will lose to boredom. Unshakable people don't build their lives on feelings. They build their lives on commitments that match their values. Most people try to change their finances by forcing themselves. Hustle harder, wake up earlier, work more hours, say yes to everything. Then they burn out and call it lack of discipline. It's not lack of discipline, it's misalignment. When you do work that violates your inner standards, you leak energy. You procrastinate, you resist, you sabotage. Not because you're lazy, because something in you is saying no. Aligned action is when your behavior matches what you claim matters. Let me ask you something blunt. Are you building wealth in a way you can respect? Or are you chasing numbers while slowly hating your life? If you can't respect the path, you will eventually quit. Or worse, you'll win and feel ashamed of how you got there. Aligned action is the awakened millionaire's secret weapon. It creates results without inner conflict. Here is the first principle. Decide who you are, then act like it. Most people do the reverse. They wait for results to feel like a new person. They say, when I make money, I'll be confident. When I get fit, I'll be disciplined. When I succeed, I'll feel worthy. That is backwards. Identity comes first. Behavior second, results last. So you pick an identity that is clean and powerful. I am a builder. I am a disciplined creator. I am a calm operator. I am a person who keeps promises. Then you do small actions that prove it daily. This is how self-trust is built. And self-trust is the foundation of wealth. Because when you trust yourself, you stop making desperate decisions. You stop chasing quick fixes. You stop betraying your long game. Second principle: aligned action is small, daily, and boring. This will offend your ego. Good. Most people want a breakthrough, a dramatic change, a viral moment, a big trade, a huge client. They want to jump timelines. Unshakable wealth is built by boring repetition. 1 hour of focused work every day. 1 clean sales action every day. 1 skill upgrade every day. 1 financial decision made calmly every day. That is compounding. That is real power. Let me give you a micro story. A young man wanted to escape his job. He kept searching for secrets, side hustles, crypto tips, fast tactics. He stayed broke, mentally exhausted, and emotionally angry. Then he did something simple. He picked 1 skill with a strong market. He practiced 1 hour daily. He built a portfolio quietly. He reached out to 3 people per week. After 6 months, he had offers. After a year, his income doubled. Not because he found a secret, because he stopped being chaotic. Aligned action is calm consistency. Third principle: your calendar reveals your truth. People lie to themselves with words. Your schedule doesn't lie. If you say freedom matters, but you spend your evenings in distraction, your real value is comfort. If you say wealth matters, but you never sell, your real value is safety. If you say growth matters, but you avoid feedback, your real value is ego protection. This is not to shame you, it's to show you where alignment is missing. So here is a practical exercise. Look at your last 7 days. Where did your time go? Now ask 1 question. Did my week match the life I say I want? If not, don't panic. Adjust. Alignment is a daily correction, not a one-time decision. Fourth principle: money respects clarity. Vague goals create vague action. Vague action creates inconsistent results. So you must decide what money is for, not in theory, in your actual life. What is your target income and why? What will it change? What will it protect? What will it allow you to build? If you can't answer, money becomes emotional again. You start chasing symbols. Clarity turns money into a tool. Now let's talk about the awakened part of aligned action: inner honesty. Many people set goals that are not theirs. They borrowed them from parents, from friends, from social media, from ego. They chase a lifestyle they don't even enjoy. They buy things they don't need. They work in ways that make them miserable. Then they wonder why they can't stay consistent. Because the goal is not aligned with the soul. You don't need to be spiritual to understand this. You just need to be honest. Do you want a big house or do you want peace? Do you want luxury or do you want freedom? Do you want status or do you want respect? Do you want more or do you want control of your time? Answering these questions removes years of wasted effort. Aligned action means your ambition becomes clean. You still want a lot, but you want it for reasons you respect. Fifth principle: commitments are stronger than moods. This is where most people fail. They make plans when they feel good, then break them when they feel tired. Unshakable people design plans that survive tiredness. They lower friction. They simplify. They create rituals. A ritual is not a motivation trick. It's a decision you don't debate. Here is a simple ritual that builds wealth. The daily 3. 1 action that grows income. 1 action that grows skill. 1 action that protects health. 3 actions every day. Small, non-negotiable, no drama. If you do this for 90 days, your life changes because it forces alignment across money, growth, and energy. Now let's bring in relationships because they are part of your financial reality. If your circle is chaotic, your focus will be chaotic. If your relationships are draining, your ambition will be unstable. Aligned action includes choosing environments that support your mission. Sometimes the most profitable decision is distance. Distance from distractions, distance from drama, distance from people who normalize weakness. This is not arrogance, it's self-respect. Now I want to confront a lie that keeps people stuck. I don't have time. Most people have time. They have unprotected time, time stolen by noise. Aligned action is protecting time like money, because time is money's source. If you can't protect an hour, you can't protect a future. So here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, protect 1 hour, daily. 1 hour with no phone, no distractions, no multitasking. Use it to build, not to consume. Build something that increases value. Your nervous system will resist. That's good. That's the old identity dying. And now I want to end with a moment that should feel like a reset. You don't need more motivation. You need a cleaner agreement with yourself. You need actions that match your values so you stop fighting yourself every day. When you are aligned, you move with less friction. Your mind gets quieter. Your decisions get sharper. Your confidence becomes calm. And money starts to follow that calm. In the next chapter, we will talk about receiving without guilt and spending without self-betrayal. How to enjoy money with maturity. How to use it to build peace, not to buy distractions. Chapter 5. Spend like a free person, not like a wounded one. Here is the brutal truth. Most people don't spend money. They treat emotions. They buy relief. They buy identity. They buy status. They buy distraction. And then they call it a reward. The problem is not the purchase. The problem is the reason underneath it. If spending is used to regulate your mood, you will never feel rich, because your nervous system will always be hungry. A calm, wealthy person spends differently. They don't spend to look successful. They spend to create a life that works. They don't buy things to escape themselves. They buy things that support their mission, their health, their time, and their peace. Let me ask you something direct. When you spend, do you feel clearer afterward or heavier? If you often feel heavier, that's a sign you're not buying objects. You're buying a feeling you don't know how to create internally. This chapter is about becoming mature with money. Not cheap, not rigid, mature. Because maturity is what turns income into freedom. Start with this principle. Spending is a vote. Every purchase trains your identity. It trains what you tolerate. It trains what you value. It trains what you think you deserve. If you spend like someone who is trying to prove something, you become someone who is always proving. Unshakable people spend like builders. They protect their future while enjoying the present. They don't delay life forever. They also don't sacrifice the future for a short dopamine hit. So you need a new standard. The calm test. Before you buy, ask one question. Will this purchase increase my calm or decrease it later? If it increases calm, it's usually aligned. If it decreases calm later, it's usually emotional. This test works on everything. Clothes, cars, subscriptions, courses, restaurants, even gifts. Calm is the real metric. Now let's expose the 3 common spending wounds. First wound, spending to feel powerful. This shows up when you feel ignored, disrespected, or behind. You buy something that signals status. You want the world to see you. You want to feel ahead for a moment. The item gives you a temporary high, then your baseline returns. Now you need another hit. That is not enjoyment. That is dependence. Second wound is spending to self-soothe. This shows up when you're tired, stressed, lonely, or anxious. You buy food you don't need. You order things you don't use. You fill your space with packages to feel something. The purchase becomes a hug, but it's a hug with interest. You pay twice, once with money, once with self-respect. Third wound is spending to reward suffering. This is the most sneaky. You work hard, you feel depleted, so you deserve something. The reward becomes proof you survived your own life. The problem is, you start building a life that requires rewards just to tolerate it. That's not success. That's a cage with nice furniture. Awakened spending starts with one big decision. You will no longer buy to fix emotions you refuse to face. That sounds intense, but it is freedom, because once you stop using money as emotional medicine, money becomes clean again. Here is the practical tool. Separate spending into 3 categories: fuel, growth, and joy. Fuel is what keeps your life stable: housing, food, transport, basics. Do it well. Don't turn fuel into status theater. Growth is what increases your future value: skills, health, tools, education, networking. Growth spending is often boring, but it compounds. Joy is what makes life enjoyable: travel, experiences, beauty, small pleasures. Joy is allowed, joy is healthy, but joy must not be used as a drug. The goal is not to kill joy. The goal is to keep joy honest. Now let's make this interactive. Think of your last 3 unnecessary purchases. What emotion was present right before you bought? Not what you tell yourself, what was actually present. Stress, boredom, insecurity, anger, fatigue, loneliness. If you can name the emotion, you're already winning, because what you can name, you can control. Next step, build a pause. Emotional spending is fast, mature spending is slow. So you introduce friction, a 24-hour rule for non-essential buys, a sleep on it rule, a talk to future me rule. Here is a powerful question. If I don't buy this, what feeling will I have to face? That question reveals the real transaction. Often the real transaction is not money, it's avoidance. Once you see that, you can choose differently. You can face the feeling. You can walk. You can write. You can talk to someone. You can sleep. You can breathe. You can do a small action that actually fixes the cause, not the symptom. Now let's talk about the opposite problem: people who are afraid to spend at all. They save, but they feel tight. They hoard, but they feel unsafe. That is also a wound. Usually it's fear of loss, fear of the future, fear of being irresponsible. Awakened wealth is not hoarding. It's trust plus strategy. You build safety with systems: emergency fund, insurance, clear budget, predictable investing. When safety is structured, you can spend with peace. That's the point. Peaceful spending is not random. It's supported by structure. Now you also need to understand a higher level idea. The art of spending is buying time, not things. A wealthy mind asks, does this purchase buy me time, energy, focus, health, or freedom? If yes, it's often smart. If it only buys image, it's often expensive. Examples are simple: paying for a tool that saves you hours, paying for training that upgrades your income, paying for support that protects your health. Those purchases can be life-changing. But buying luxury to impress people who don't care is financial self-harm with a smile. Here is another micro-story. A young entrepreneur started making real money. He bought a car to match his new identity. Payments, insurance, maintenance. Suddenly, he needed the next level of income just to breathe. He became trapped by a symbol. Later, he sold it, got a simpler car, and invested the difference. That decision looked less successful to outsiders. Inside, it felt like oxygen. That's the awakened move. You choose freedom over performance. Now I want to make sure you hear this clearly. You are allowed to enjoy money. Pleasure is not the enemy. Immaturity is the enemy. The mature way to spend is intentional joy. You decide your joy budget. You spend it without guilt. You enjoy it fully. Then you stop. No shame. No spiral. Guilt is a hidden tax. When you spend and feel guilty, you destroy the pleasure and you keep the cost. That's the worst deal. So the rule is simple. Either you spend aligned or you don't spend, but you don't spend and punish yourself. Now here is the final wow of this chapter. Your spending is your self-portrait. If someone watched how you spend, they would know your fears, your values, your discipline, and your maturity. So redesign it like a wealthy person would, not a flashy person, a free person. This week, choose one upgrade, just one. Cancel one subscription that drains you. Replace one impulse purchase with one growth purchase. Create one joy rule that makes pleasure clean. Introduce one pause that stops emotional spending. Do one thing, then repeat. Because freedom is not a lottery, it's a system built by small decisions. In the next chapter, we will talk about receiving and holding wealth without anxiety, how to expand your capacity so more money doesn't create more stress, how to become the kind of person who can handle abundance and stay peaceful. Chapter 6. Increase your capacity to hold wealth without anxiety. Here is the truth nobody tells you when you chase money. More income doesn't automatically bring more peace. It often brings more pressure, more decisions, more expectations, more visibility, more temptation, more responsibility. That's why some people earn more and feel worse. They upgraded their income but never upgraded their capacity. Capacity is your ability to hold more without breaking your character. More money, more opportunity, more attention, more uncertainty, more risk, more responsibility. If your capacity is small, abundance becomes a threat. If your capacity is strong, abundance becomes fuel. Let me ask you something honest. If your income doubled next month, would you become calmer or would you become more tense? If you feel tension just imagining it, that's not a sign you shouldn't grow, it's a sign you must prepare. Unshakable people don't just chase bigger numbers, they build a bigger self. Capacity has 3 pillars: nervous system stability, decision systems, and identity strength. First pillar, nervous system stability. Your body decides how safe money feels. If your nervous system is constantly on edge, you will treat money like danger. You will overreact to small losses. You will obsess over outcomes. You will make impulsive moves to feel relief. This is not weakness, it's biology. So you train calm, not as a luxury, as a wealth skill. Sleep is a wealth skill. If you are chronically tired, you will spend emotionally and decide poorly. Movement is a wealth skill. If your body is stagnant, your mind becomes heavy and reactive. Nutrition is a wealth skill. If your blood sugar swings, your emotions swing, and your finances follow. This is not lifestyle advice, this is risk management. Now here is a simple daily practice to stabilize the nervous system around money. 5 minutes of stillness before any money decision. No phone, no input, just breathing. Then you open your bank app, your invoices, your investments, whatever it is, from a regulated state. You are teaching your body, numbers are safe, I am safe. This is how you break financial anxiety at the root. Second pillar, decision systems. Anxiety comes from too many decisions with no rules. Most people treat money decisions like emotions. They improvise, they debate, they hesitate, they delay, then they panic. Unshakable people use rules. Rules reduce stress. You need simple structures that remove daily negotiation. For example, automatic transfers the day you get paid, a fixed percentage for investing, a fixed amount for lifestyle, a fixed budget for joy, a fixed rule for large purchases, a fixed rule for risk. When rules exist, your mood becomes irrelevant. This is how wealthy people stay calm. They don't feel their way through money, they systemize it. Let me give you a micro story. A young couple earned well but fought about money constantly, not because they lacked income, because they lacked structure. Every month was a debate. Every purchase felt personal. They created rules. Bills first, savings automatic, joy budget agreed. One weekly money meeting for 20 minutes. The tension disappeared. Same people, same income, new system, new peace. This is capacity in action. Third pillar, identity strength. This is the deepest one. If money becomes your identity, you will never feel safe. Your worth will rise and fall with numbers. You will fear losing. You will fear being exposed. You will fear not being enough. Identity strength means you know who you are without money. Money becomes a tool you use, not a mirror that judges you. So ask yourself, who am I without money? What do I respect about myself that cannot be bought? Discipline, courage, skill, integrity, consistency, creativity. These are the foundations that make money safe. Because if you lose money but keep your identity, you can rebuild. If you keep money but lose your identity, you will destroy it anyway. Unshakable people are internally referenced. They don't need money to feel real. They use money to make real things. Now let's talk about something practical that increases capacity fast. Exposure in controlled doses. If you avoid numbers, they become scary. If you face them calmly, they become normal. So you practice small exposure. Check your accounts daily for 60 seconds without emotion, not to obsess, to normalize. Track spending weekly without shame. Review goals monthly without drama. The goal is neutrality. Neutrality is power. Another capacity builder is learning to handle loss. Loss is part of wealth. Investments drop, deals fail, clients leave, unexpected costs appear. If you cannot handle loss emotionally, you will never invest properly, never scale properly, never lead properly. The awakened millionaire trains loss tolerance. He doesn't seek loss, he accepts it as tuition. Here is a simple question that makes you stronger. What is the lesson here, and what is the next clean move? No self-attack, no victim story. Lesson, next move. This converts pain into process. Now let's address the biggest capacity killer, lifestyle inflation. When income rises, many people inflate their life immediately. Bigger rent, more subscriptions, more commitments. Now they need the new income level just to breathe. Their freedom doesn't grow, their cage becomes nicer. Capacity is keeping your baseline stable while your assets grow. This is how you become truly free. You keep your lifestyle reasonable and let your investments, skills, and systems expand. This creates something rare, options. Options are the real luxury. The ability to leave a job, the ability to refuse a bad client, the ability to take time off, the ability to invest calmly, the ability to help your family. Options are what money is for. Now I want you to do something with me. Imagine receiving a large sum today. Not fantasy, just imagine it. Now notice your body. Do you feel excitement, fear, tightness, guilt, pressure? That reaction is your capacity level speaking. The goal is not to kill excitement, it's to remove fear and guilt. So here is your weekly practice. 1 hour per week of financial calm training. You sit, you review your numbers, you plan the next week, you adjust, you invest, you pay, you organize, all from calm. No music, no distractions, just you and reality. Reality becomes friendly when you meet it consistently. This is what awakened wealth looks like. It's not constant manifestation talk, it's not denial, it's not magical thinking. It's calm, repeated contact with truth. Now a final micro story. A man started earning more through his business. He noticed his anxiety rising. Instead of spending to feel better, he invested in systems, an accountant, automations, clear categories, simple rules. His stress dropped. His decisions improved. His income grew again. This is the loop. Capacity first, growth second, peace always. Now I want to end this chapter with a moment that should feel like a new identity. The future wealthy version of you is not a different person with more luck. It is you with more capacity. You can build that starting today. Regulate your body. Systemize decisions. Anchor identity. Practice neutrality with numbers. Protect options. That's it. In the next chapter, we'll talk about the highest level of awakened wealth. Using money without attachment. How to enjoy success without becoming owned by it. How to stay human,
calm and free while building a life that looks powerful from the outside.
Chapter 7. Enjoy success without becoming owned by it. Here is the trap that catches ambitious people at the exact moment they make it. They think the pressure will disappear. It doesn't. It changes shape. You stop worrying about survival, and you start worrying about losing what you built. You stop fearing being broke, and you start fearing looking stupid, falling behind, getting replaced, being exposed, disappointing people, wasting your potential. Success can become a new prison if you keep treating money like a source of identity. Let me ask you a sharp question. If someone removed your income, your assets, your status symbols, your audience, your title, what would still be solid inside you? If that answer is weak, you're not wealthy, you're dependent, and dependency is fragile. The awakened millionaire learns a rare skill: using money fully without letting money use him, enjoying comfort without clinging to it, building more without being possessed by more. This is not spiritual poetry, it's high-level risk management. Because the biggest threat to wealth is not the market, it's attachment. Attachment makes you irrational. It makes you fear normal volatility. It makes you accept bad deals to avoid short-term discomfort. It makes you stay in toxic partnerships because you don't want the story to end. It makes you spend to keep an image alive. It makes you compromise values for momentum. Attachment creates blind spots. Blind spots are expensive. So we're going to define the goal clearly. Detachment is not indifference. Detachment is clean ownership. You care, but you don't cling. You act, but you don't panic. You build, but you don't worship. Here is the first principle. Money must never be the reason you respect yourself. If your self-respect rises with your bank balance, you will always feel unstable, because numbers move. A month can be great, then messy. A deal can close, then collapse. A business can grow, then get challenged. If your inner state depends on the outer score, you will live on a psychological roller coaster. Unshakable people anchor self-respect to what they control: their discipline, their honesty, their courage, their ability to learn, their ability to stay calm under pressure, their ability to keep promises. These are permanent assets. Now the second principle. Separate the desire for money from the fear of losing it. Desire is healthy when it has direction. Fear is poison when it controls behavior. Many people confuse the two. They chase more, but the engine is fear, not ambition. They don't build to create, they build to finally feel safe. And because safety is internal, the chase never ends. Ask yourself honestly, are you building from purpose or running from insecurity? You will know by one sign. Can you rest without guilt? If you can't, money is owning you. Third principle. Don't upgrade lifestyle faster than you upgrade identity. When income rises, temptation rises. Better apartment, better car, better clothes, better everything. The problem is not luxury. The problem is speed. If you upgrade life faster than your emotional maturity, you will use consumption to regulate your nervous system, and then your baseline cost becomes your new anxiety. A calm rule solves this. Every lifestyle upgrade must buy one of these: time, health, focus, or peace. If it only buys attention, it's usually a trap. Here's a micro story. A young entrepreneur started earning well. He immediately moved to a bigger place, bought a high-end car, and increased every expense. He looked successful. Inside, he felt hunted. He needed constant revenue to maintain the image. He started taking bad clients, rushing work, losing sleep. Eventually, he realized he didn't upgrade freedom, he upgraded pressure. He sold the car, simplified, built cash reserves, and his confidence returned. People thought he downgraded. He actually became free. That's the awakened move, choosing oxygen over applause. Fourth principle. Learn to hold both gratitude and ambition at the same time. Most people pick one. They're grateful, but they stop growing. Or they're ambitious, but they can't appreciate anything. Both are weak. Gratitude without ambition becomes stagnation. Ambition without gratitude becomes greed. The mature state is gratitude for what exists, ambition for what is possible. Try this daily question. What am I grateful for right now, and what am I building next? 2 sentences, 2 truths. This keeps your mind balanced. Fifth principle. Stop making money decisions to protect your ego. Ego protection looks like this: buying something to look important, refusing help because you want to feel superior, avoiding a conversation because you fear being judged, staying in a failing project because you don't want to admit you were wrong, taking revenge risks to prove you're still that person. These behaviors are not financial errors, they are emotional errors expressed through money. So you need a practice. Before any major decision, ask, is this move designed to create value or to protect an image? If it's image, pause. If it's value, proceed calmly. Sixth principle. The true luxury is not what you can buy, it's what you can walk away from. If you cannot walk away from a deal, you're weak. If you cannot walk away from a partnership, you're trapped. If you cannot walk away from a lifestyle, you're owned. If you cannot walk away from needing approval, you're controllable. Unshakable people build exit power, cash buffer, diverse income, strong skills, clean reputation, low fixed costs, a body that works, a mind that can handle discomfort. When you have exit power, you negotiate from strength. Your life becomes calmer because you are not cornered. Now let's make this personal and interactive. What is currently owning you the most? A payment? A lifestyle? A person's opinion? A fear of looking like a failure? A need to prove something? Name it. If you can name it, you can design a plan to reduce its control. Here is the seventh principle. Stop making money decisions to look loving. Some people use money to buy affection, gifts to keep people close, spending to avoid conflict, paying to feel worthy. Others do the opposite. They refuse to spend on loved ones because they fear being used. Both are attachment. Awakened wealth has a clean frame. Money is a tool for generosity, not a substitute for connection. You can be generous and still hold boundaries. You can say no and still be loving. You can support people without rescuing them. A simple rule helps. Never use money to avoid an honest conversation. If a relationship needs money to stay stable, something deeper is broken. Eighth principle. Practice giving in a way that keeps you free. Giving is powerful when it comes from abundance and choice. It becomes poison when it comes from guilt and pressure. Many people give to be seen as good. That is still ego. Or they give to fix a feeling of emptiness. That is still avoidance. The awakened millionaire gives strategically. He gives where it creates real impact. He also keeps his foundation strong because a collapsing giver becomes a burden. So ask yourself, when I give, do I feel expanded or drained? Expanded is aligned. Drained is a signal to adjust. Ninth principle. Build a relationship with enough. Enough is not a number, it's a standard. It's knowing what level of comfort supports your mission, your health, and your calm. Without enough, you will chase forever. You can't enjoy success if you have no finish line for satisfaction. Define enough in categories: enough sleep, enough free time, enough savings, enough simplicity, enough joy, enough challenge. When those are met, more becomes optional. Optional is the definition of freedom. Now I want to close this chapter with a moment that should feel like a mental upgrade. Imagine two wealthy people. The first is rich but tense. He checks numbers constantly. He fears losing status. He overreacts to every fluctuation. He cannot rest. He cannot trust. He cannot enjoy what he has. His money is big, but his life is small. The second is rich and calm. She builds steadily. She invests patiently. She spends intentionally. She can enjoy luxury without needing it. She can lose money without losing herself. She is free inside. Her money is a tool, not a throne. Both have money. Only one has wealth. Choose which one you want to become. In the next chapter, Chapter 8. Turn wealth into meaning without turning life into a performance. Here is the shift that separates rich people from truly wealthy people. Rich is what you have. Wealth is who you become while having it. And if money does not deepen you, it will eventually distort you. It will amplify your blind spots. It will feed your ego. It will isolate you. Or it will keep you busy chasing more while your life becomes emotionally smaller. Let me ask you something that matters. If you keep earning more for the next 10 years, what will your life be about? Not what it will look like, what it will mean. If you don't decide that, the world will decide for you. Trends will decide. Comparison will decide. Ego will decide. And that is how people end up with money and no peace. The awakened approach is not anti-success. It is anti-empty success. It is learning to use money as a translator between your inner values and your outer reality. Money is simply energy made practical. It becomes dangerous only when it has no purpose. So, we start with a core idea. Meaning is not found. Meaning is built. You build it through choices that reflect your highest standards, and you build it through contribution that is honest, not performative. Now, the biggest trap here is performance. When you get wealth, you can start living for the audience, even if you don't have an audience online. You live for social signals. You buy things people will notice. You do charity for image. You speak about impact to feel superior. You curate your lifestyle to look enlightened. That is not meaning. That is ego wearing a spiritual mask. Meaning is quiet. It does not need applause. The first principle is simple. Choose your values, then fund them. Most people do the opposite. They earn first, then try to figure out what they stand for. But by then, their life is already shaped by habits, commitments, and a lifestyle that may not reflect who they want to be. So decide now. What do you value enough to invest in? You might value freedom. Then you fund low fixed costs, a cash buffer, and skills that travel with you. You might value health. Then you fund training, sleep protection, high-quality food, and stress reduction. You might value family. Then you fund time, stability, and presence, not just gifts. You might value mastery. Then you fund learning, tools, mentorship, deep workspace. You might value contribution. Then you fund projects that solve real problems. This turns money into alignment. Second principle, your meaning must survive boredom. Real meaning is not an emotional high. It's what you still do when nobody claps and nothing feels exciting. It is the work you keep doing because it fits your soul and your standards. If your purpose disappears when results slow down, it wasn't purpose, it was adrenaline. So test it. What would you still build if nobody posted about it, liked it, or praised it? Third principle. Contribution is the cleanest antidote to ego. Ego says, look at me. Contribution says, let me help. When you contribute honestly, your mind becomes healthier. You stop obsessing about yourself. You stop living inside comparison. You stop needing constant validation. You start measuring your days by impact, not by image. This is why many successful people feel calmer when they mentor, teach, create, or build something useful. It grounds them. But it must be real, not charity as a performance. So here is a practical question. Who am I making life easier for, and how? If you can answer, you're on the right track. Fourth principle. Don't confuse legacy with fame. Fame is loud. Legacy is quiet. Fame is often about being seen. Legacy is about leaving something that still works when you're not there. A stable family, a business that treats people well, a product that solves a problem, a student you helped, a community you strengthened, a culture you built inside your team. Legacy is built through consistency and character, not through marketing. Now, let's make it personal. Do you want to be remembered, or do you want to be proud while you're alive? Because one of those is often a trap. The desire to be remembered can turn your life into theater. The desire to be proud can turn your life into integrity. Choose integrity. Fifth principle. Wealth must improve your relationships, not replace them. When people get money, they sometimes become transactional. They outsource love. They buy silence. They buy distance. Or they surround themselves with people who flatter them because it feels safe. The awakened millionaire does the opposite. He uses resources to create presence, not distance. He uses money to remove stress so he can be more human, not less. Ask yourself, am I using money to avoid hard conversations or to create more honest time together? Sixth principle. Pay for peace, not for ego. This is a high-level rule. Many purchases look similar from the outside, but the inner reason is different. Paying for a comfortable home so your nervous system can recover is peace. Buying a luxury item to feel superior is ego. Paying for help to protect your time is peace. Paying for status to impress people is ego. So always ask, is this peace or performance? Seventh principle. Build a life that is internally rich before it is externally rich. External wealth is unstable if internal wealth is poor. Internal wealth is calm, health, discipline, meaningful work, clean relationships, self-respect. If you have those, money becomes enjoyable. If you don't, money becomes a magnifier of emptiness. This is why some people with less money are happier than rich people. They have internal wealth. The goal is to have both, but internal comes first. Eighth principle. Make your giving intelligent. Giving should not weaken you. It should not come from guilt. It should not be forced. Intelligent giving means you choose where your resources create the most real impact. Sometimes that's direct help to someone you know. Sometimes it's supporting organizations that do measurable work. Sometimes it's building jobs through your business. Sometimes it's investing in solutions. The awakened way is not random generosity. It is intentional impact. Here is an interactive exercise. Choose one cause you truly respect, not because it looks good, but because it matters to you. Decide a percentage or a fixed amount you will give consistently, not when you feel emotional, consistently. This trains meaning as a habit, not a mood. Ninth principle. Keep your life simple enough to hear yourself. Meaning requires silence. If your life is full of noise, you can't feel what is true. That's why some wealthy people become restless. Their lives are crowded with stimulation. They can't sit still. They can't hear their own values. So protect quiet, daily, even 10 minutes. Ask, what am I building and why? If the answer feels empty, adjust.
Now, let's close with a moment that should land deeply. Money can buy comfort, it can buy experiences, it can buy options, but it cannot buy the feeling of living a life you respect. That feeling is earned. It comes from alignment. It comes from integrity. It comes from building something real. It comes from being someone you admire when nobody is watching. If you use money to escape yourself, you will never feel safe. If you use money to express your values, you will feel grounded even as you grow. In the next and final chapter, we'll bring everything together into a complete awakened blueprint. A simple way to live rich on the outside and free on the inside, with a clean finish line, gratitude, and calm power.
Chapter 9. The Awakened Blueprint for a Rich Life That Stays Clean. Here is the final truth. Wealth is not what you achieve, it is what you can sustain without losing yourself. Anyone can have a good month. Anyone can get lucky once. Anyone can spike income with chaos. The Awakened Millionaire builds a life that stays clean under pressure. A life where money grows and peace grows with it. This chapter is the blueprint, not theory, a practical way to live rich on the outside and free on the inside. Start with the core equation. Money is a tool, peace is the goal, values are the compass, systems are the engine. If you keep that order, you will not get lost. The first part of the blueprint is inner order. You don't negotiate with numbers emotionally anymore. You don't use spending to medicate feelings. You don't use income to prove worth. You don't use luxury to silence insecurity. You stop making money a personality. You become neutral with money. Neutrality is power. So here's your daily inner rule. No major money decisions while emotionally activated. If you're in fear, excitement, anger, rejection, or ego, you delay. You breathe. You calm the system. Then you decide. This single rule will save you from years of mistakes. The second part of the blueprint is alignment. You decide what money is for, not a fantasy, a function. You choose your mission. You define your big idea and your big promise. You build value you can respect. Because when your work is aligned, your ambition becomes clean. You can work hard without feeling like you're betraying your life. Then you design your day around the daily 3. One action that grows income, one action that grows skill, one action that protects health. If you do only this for a year, you will outgrow your old identity. This is how you build wealth without burnout. This is how you stop relying on motivation. The third part is spending maturity. You stop spending like a wounded person. You spend like a free person. You use the calm test. Will this purchase increase my calm or decrease it later? You separate fuel, growth, and joy. You allow joy without guilt because guilt is a hidden tax. You remove emotional spending by adding pause and clarity. You buy time, health, focus, and peace, not applause. The fourth part is capacity. You build the ability to hold more money, more responsibility, more opportunity. You stabilize your nervous system through sleep, movement, and calm routines. You build decision systems so your mood doesn't run your finances. You anchor identity in discipline and character, not in numbers. You normalize truth by looking at your numbers calmly and consistently. You stop living in avoidance. Reality becomes friendly when you meet it daily. The fifth part is detachment. You enjoy success without clinging. You remember the highest luxury is exit power. Low fixed costs, strong skills, a cash buffer, clean reputation, diverse income, the ability to walk away. That's what makes you unshakable. When you can walk away, you stop being controlled by fear. When fear leaves, your decisions become intelligent. The sixth part is meaning. You fund your values. You contribute without performance. You build legacy without chasing fame. You use money to strengthen relationships, not replace them. You keep your life simple enough to hear yourself. You protect quiet. You choose integrity over theater. Now I want you to do one last internal audit with me. Answer quietly but honestly. Do I feel clean when I earn money, or do I feel tension? Do I feel peace when I spend money, or do I feel guilt? Do I feel stable when numbers move, or do I spiral? Do I feel proud of how I'm doing, or do I feel like I'm performing? Do I feel connected to people, or am I using money to create distance? Whatever answers you gave, that's your next level. Not your next tactic, your next level. Now here's the part that most people never accept. Wealth is not built by one giant decision. It is built by 1,000 small acts of self-respect. You keep promises to yourself. You make clean choices under pressure. You tell the truth. You delay impulse. You choose systems. You protect your health. You invest patiently. You spend intentionally. You build value that helps real people. You repeat. This is what makes wealth stick. And it's also what makes you feel rich before you are rich, because inner freedom is not a future reward, it's a present skill. If you want a simple way to live this blueprint, use this weekly rhythm. Once a week, you do a calm money review, short, honest, clear. You look at income, spending, savings, investments, next actions. No shame, no drama. Once a week, you do a mission review. What am I building? Who am I serving? What is the next improvement? Once a week, you do a life review. Sleep, health, relationships, focus. Are you becoming more free or more trapped? These reviews keep you awake. They stop you from drifting. Now I want to end this book with the strongest truth you can carry into your future. Money is not your enemy. It is not your God. It is your amplifier. If you stay asleep inside, money will amplify the chaos. If you stay awake, money will amplify your power, your peace, and your ability to help. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to enjoy luxury. You are allowed to build an empire. The only rule is that you do it clean, with character, with calm, with clarity, with respect for yourself and others. Because the real flex is not what you can buy, it's how steady you remain while building. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. That alone tells me you're serious. Most people want results. Very few want the inner upgrade that makes results sustainable. You chose the harder path, and that path leads to a rare life. Congratulations for finishing this book. You now have a blueprint that can guide you for years. Don't rush. Don't try to do everything at once. Choose one principle and apply it today, then tomorrow, then again. Small steps, calm steps, but real steps. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not bad with money. You're simply upgrading. And if you keep upgrading, your future will not be defined by luck. It will be defined by your standards. Subscribe the Millionaire Library, and if you want to go deeper, I left a full playlist waiting for you in the description.